Hello, my name is Leah. Today we're going to be jumping into a vlog for this week as I get my life together and then do my final NaNoWriMo prep, which I'm so excited about. I'm so excited to be participating in NaNoWriMo this year because I didn't get to last year and it made me oh so very sad. But I do have a few things to wrap up before I jump into that. Today, in fact, is going to be dedicated to freelance work. I'm hoping to get the whole thing done today, which may or may not happen. I think it will though. It depends on how distracted I get. But that's what I've got going on today. I'm struggling though because my brain has decided to hyperfixate on something and I gave in to this hyperfixation over the weekend. And so now all I want to do this week is this thing. So I had the urge on Friday actually, but didn't get a chance to do it until Saturday, to buy a pair of knitting needles and some yarn and learn how to knit. So that's what I did this weekend. I knitted myself a little dishcloth. It's not the greatest right now, but I'm very happy about it for it being my first thing ever. I've got some little ends right now because I don't have the tools needed to actually weave it in right now. There's a few places where you can see that I sort of messed up the stitching, but for a couple of them I realized what was happening at the time, but I was sort of just like, this is just my practice thing. It's not gonna ruin the thing as a whole, and so I'm just gonna keep going just so I can get in the habit of like the movements. But yeah, I did a thing, and now all I want to do is do more knitting things. So that's going to be the hyperfixation that I'm fighting against this week. However, it can also be used as a reward. So I have my things I absolutely need to get done written down. So I've decided that if I get those things done, if I cross off everything on my list, then I will reward myself with not having to do anything for the rest of the day except for knit. We're gonna make it a little bit of a challenge to see how many things I can knit by the end of this week, basically, because that means I will have gotten all my work done, which is the real goal of the week. I finished, so I'm going to try to make this scarf. Hi, hello, today's Wednesday. I don't think I checked in on the vlog at all yesterday, so to update you on where I'm at, Monday I did in fact get the freelance work done, so we are finished with that, moving on to Project Fire. Yesterday, I sort of reviewed what I had written so far just to refresh myself on where I was at, what direction I was taking it. I might do a bit of an editorial pass on that today, but yesterday I was sort of focused on getting more familiar with that, with the outline. I reviewed the outline and I didn't really write anything down, like I didn't write down a game plan, but I was just sort of in my head getting a game plan together, if that makes sense. Because there's not really anything for me to write down other than maybe some specific character stuff, like I said, with those sort of thematic world building elements and side character stuff, which I do actually need to do. I probably will do that today. But yes, that's what I was working on yesterday. I'm going to save the map thing for last because that's sort of my lowest priority. I don't really need it. What I really need is the world building and the character stuff. So that's gonna be my priority. But to update you on my knitting progress, I just have become obsessed and it's becoming a problem. So I knitted a little bit Monday because I got done with my work a little bit earlier. Not really than anticipated. I knew it would take me all day, but I had some time left in the day to knit. Tuesday, I did a little bit and then stayed up fairly late knitting. And then yesterday I stayed up till 1 a.m. knitting. So I think this is just now my entire personality, but this is where my scarf is at. I can spread the stitches out up top. So as you can see, we've made a lot of progress. I'm feeling good about it. However, last night I sort of wasn't getting bored of this. I'm enjoying doing this one, but I wanted to try out a new technique, and I had watched a video earlier that day of how to do this particular thing for a dish towel. So I have another yarn and I have The pack of needles that I got had 3 sizes in it, so I just grabbed one of those, and technically that's actually the correct size for the pattern. So I started knitting a little dish towel. So this one is like interesting because it has kind of like a border around it, and then it has these, this is really hard to do with one hand, it has these little like bumps in it because of the pattern. If you know anything about knitting, I know probably no one cares about this at all, but it's like knit 2, purl 2, knit 2, purl 2, and then you do the same thing for the next row, and then you do the opposite for the row after that. So it creates these sort of bumps, which I thought looked really nice in like the final picture, and also was really good for a dish towel because you need to scrub things. So yeah. Anyways, that's my entire personality now. This is no longer a writing channel, this is a knitting channel. I was not anticipating this being as much of a brain distraction as it is. It's been working as a reward, which has been good. However, my brain is still just very hyperfixated. It doesn't want to do anything else. And I'm trying to tell myself that once I finish the stuff, you can hyperfixate on it, because I am going to Texas this weekend and I can always just like bring my yarn and my needles. I don't have any work planned for while I'm there, and I can just do that there. And it'll probably be good to do that there because, you know, it'll be entertainment while my parents are at work. Anyways, that's where I'm at. That's where my knitting progress has gone. I need to set a specific goal so that my brain doesn't get distracted. I want to do like a thematic breakdown of 4 side characters. That's gonna take a hot sec, and it'll probably take me most of the day, but that gives me some leeway so I can move on to what I really want to do later. I'm back from Texas. I planned to end this vlog before I left, but I never actually filmed an outro, and I decided today that there was a few more things that I wanted to bring you along for. So that's where we're at. Number 1, Preptober. I've done the like secondary character prep work that I wanted to do. Basically, I realized I never actually really explained this, but basically what I wanted to do was sort of examine every secondary character, so not my main character, but examine each of those and just much more specifically give them like a thematic story role. So obviously, you know, in most stories, the main character is learning some sort of lesson along the way. They're confronting their misbelief, and I wanted each side character to be sort of a different variation of that thing. I'm not explaining this super well, but the long story short of it is I got that done. We are good, we're squared away. I do not in fact have a map like I sort of wanted to going into November, but again, that's something I'm kind of okay with. It wasn't super high up on the priority list, and it's not something that's gonna prevent me from writing the story, because it is a fairly centralized story. Like, we're not traveling much, we're kind of in the same area, definitely in the same city, the whole book. But overall, I'm feeling really excited and really prepared for November. I have no excuse this year, you know, which sort of makes me want to not do it, because just in case I fail, I don't want to have to like confront the fact that I failed again. But I really have no excuse this year. Like, I know this story so inside and out. I need to finish a draft of it. Like, it's just necessary. On to update number 2, you know, because apparently a theme of this vlog was me sharing my hyperfixation with knitting with you guys. I wanted to show you my progress on that. So the dish towel that I showed you earlier that I had started, I have in fact finished. Again, I have some danglies that I need to weave in because I don't have the thing for it. But the cool thing about this one is part of the pattern was knitting this loop thing. So when I weave this dangly in, part of the way I weave it in is by tying this together, and then it weaves up into the loop like that. And then I cut it, like I don't need this whole thing, but then it will have a little loop that I can use to hang it. But I think it turned out really good. More specifically, the bottom where I started was good. The sides do not have as clear a definition of border as I would have liked, and I'm not entirely sure why that is, because I knitted it correctly. I think I just wasn't knitting it tight enough. So it's supposed to be more like that, but you can see kind of the gaps in between. And then same thing up at the top, you can see in between, and that's not supposed to be the case. I don't think I was pulling the thread tight enough, and so it's supposed to be more like this, like where that gap is closed. Anyways, I'm happy with it in general. I wasn't planning on doing anything with this other than just using it myself, so I'm okay with the flaws. The other thing I've been working on is this scarf, which has grown significantly since the last time I showed it to you. It's getting, you know, longer. It's still not fully scarf length. I think I need it to be like down here and then obviously looped around and then the same length on the other side. So I do still have a ways to go, but I'm more than halfway finished with it, I would say. And this one is going much better. There are a couple mistakes where I like forgot to knit a row across, and so like one of these stripes is like slightly shorter than the others. But other than that, it's looking really good and I'm really proud of myself. So those are my main updates, but the last thing, and the reason we're set up in my kitchen, is our cabinet pulls came in the other day. And obviously I've talked to you guys about how we've been kind of working on the house ever since we moved in. And I haven't really shown you any of that or any of the house yet, just because I haven't really gotten around to it. And a lot of times whenever I start a new project, I just dive headfirst into that project and sort of just forget about everything else. And so I've like totally not filmed anything. Today's an easy project. Like I said, our cabinet pulls came in. So they're just like these nice little sleek things. I wanted to bring you along as I install them. So at the moment, this is what the cabinets look like. Whenever we redid the kitchen, we used unfinished stock cabinets from Lowe's. So I painted all of them, and now it's time to put these guys on to finish them off. There's still a few things that, you know, some little bits and bobs, but I'll just show you. Oh, and then the other one we have is just this little knob thing, and that is for the island which you are sitting on right now. So this is the island. I'll give you a bit more of a backed up look at it. I've just got a bunch of crap on there right now. And I already installed one of the knobs. Sorry, I'm trying to like block the sunlight. But they came with these like just silver knobs whenever I put it together originally. But I just wanted to sort of make it match the rest of the kitchen more. And then also we have these like black circular knobs on the doors, and this is what we're gonna be changing all the doors in the house to be. So I thought that these like rounded ones like this just tied into the doorknobs a little bit better. And then obviously these are our cabinets. We still need trim up at the top all the way around. So that is a work in progress. And then we also need the toe kick still, but we're gonna be doing that today. This is Friday now. I had a few more that I had to finish this morning because I didn't get them all in yesterday, but it looks so good. It looks like a real kitchen now, and it makes me very excited. Thank you for indulging me as I talk about a lot of not writing related things during this Preptober vlog. But this has just been my life for the past few months. This is why things have been a little bit hectic on this channel. Let me know though if more general life stuff would be interesting to include in some of my vlogs. I am planning to do just straight up writing vlogs for November for NaNoWriMo. I'm very excited to jump into Project Fire. Let me know what you're gonna be working on for NaNoWriMo if you have a goal. But until then, thank you so much for watching and I will see you again soon. Bye.